That's right, we're back, and it's another pickups video. And if you're new around here, generally what I do is I take you through all of the stuff that's come into my game collection in the last month or so. That includes Facebook Marketplace pickups, thrift store and pawn shop purchases, and at the very end of the video, stick around, I will take you through all of my video game orders, and I open my mail on camera. I really like doing this sort of video because it kind of catalogs all of the stuff that I'm bringing in on a regular basis, and I have a bit of history of what I paid and when I got it. And if you have fun looking through other people's video game purchases, then you're absolutely in the right place. So stick around because we're going to get into it right now. Okay, first up, I'm going to take you through a little handheld bundle that I found recently on Facebook Marketplace. I was really trying to peel one game out of this bundle, but the seller wasn't interested in splitting anything up. The game that I was interested in was Harvest Moon DS, and the rest of it is kind of extra bonus stuff, and so I paid $40 Canadian for everything. Got a fairly clean Nintendo DS with a charger. The other games I either already have or aren't interested in my collection. Those are Assassin's Creed Discovery 2, both Brain Age games, and Rubik's World. What I'll look to do is bundle up the rest of the stuff that I don't want and either sell it for the same 40 Canadian that I had invested, or maybe even a little bit of profit, and then I basically net Harvest Moon DS for free. Staying in the handheld world, I grabbed up the last mainline Pokemon game that I needed on the Nintendo 3DS, and that is Pokemon Ultra Moon. I believe I paid 20 Canadian for this one, and no manual. Not sure if it just comes with the health and safety guide, or it also had a manual, but either way, 20 bucks is a score and completes that mainline Pokemon set for me on the 3DS. I've managed to add 3 new games to the N64 collection this time around, and I am working my way towards a complete North American set, most of which I'm getting loose, but I do have some complete in-box stuff. I paid $30 total for these 3 games. It was $10 for each game to 3 individual Facebook Marketplace sellers, and didn't do too bad this time around. I grabbed up NHL Blades of Steel 99, Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling, and this beautiful red cartridge, which is Spider-Man. And pretty happy to add those to the collection. N64 games are already not that easy to find out in the wild, and when I do find them, they're generally ones that I have already. So finding new games that I don't have in the collection already is always exciting. So there's 3 new ones added to the collection this time around. Next up are a collection of Xbox 360 games from a local game store, and those are Command & Conquer Red Alert 3, which I grabbed up for $12, 99 Nights 2, which I picked up for $20, and the last game, Ninja Blade, a From Software game, for $25. I was pretty happy to grab up 99 Nights 2, as I already have the first one, not the second, so that was a nice addition to the collection. Command & Conquer games, man, I went back and looked at footage of the original Red Alert game and couldn't get over how poorly it's aged, so I'm trying to scratch that itch with these kind of titles. Hopefully it does it for me. I'm not sure if it's gonna bring back the same nostalgia, or maybe it's not an experience that I'm needing to relive. Ninja Blade was a game that I was put onto by another YouTuber's channel when listening to a video about From Software games and not knowing that there was kind of more beyond the Soul series. And so, although it doesn't seem like maybe it's going to be the best game ever, I really did want to own as many of the From Software titles as I could before kind of diving into the first Dark Souls game. And so Ninja Blade looked like an interesting addition to that lineup of games, and I picked it up and put it in the collection. Next up are 2 games that I picked up from a pawn shop in town. On the Xbox One, I grabbed Call of Cthulhu for $15 and Knight's Contract for $30. That one on the Xbox 360. Not even wishlist pickups, just out shopping and games that seemed interesting, and so I picked them up. I've been grabbing a lot of horror, and I think it's Cthulhu, Call of Cthulhu. I've been picking up a lot of horror on the Xbox One, and it's kind of a neat niche type of games to get into, and so I just looked at the back of the box on this one, and the art style looks pretty cool. It seems like it can be kind of a twisted psychological thriller sort of game, and if something priced around 15 bucks catches my eye and looks interesting, I'm gonna grab it up. And there's 2 more added to the Xbox One and 360 collections. The last little group of games here came from one of my favorite pawn shops in town. The guy is pretty awesome to me. I go in regularly and I always spend cash, which he appreciates because it saves him on the Visa fees. And he gave me these 3 games for 40 bucks. They were priced 20, 10, and 10, and he cut me a little bit of a deal. So on the Wii U, I grabbed up Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures. I also picked up 30 Great Games, Obstacle Arcade. I'm sure that's a total gem. And a game that I've actually been hunting for quite a while and never managed to get my hands on is Oddworld Munch's Odyssey on the original Xbox. So happy to have that one for sure. And these other 2, as I've mentioned before, I'm going for a complete North American set for the Wii U. And so that involves, unfortunately, as always, buying kind of cheesy games sometimes. I know I already own this Pac-Man title on the Xbox 360, so very likely what I'll do is purge that from the collection and add this one. I definitely don't need to own it twice. But 2 more games for the Wii U collection, and I believe that puts me at over 100 games on the Wii U. I think I'm right around 100 to 102 games on the Wii U right now, so doing really well on my race to complete the North American set on the Wii U. Okay, this last little group of games kind of came from a random assortment of places, but the first 3 are from this pretty greasy little pawn shop. The guy that owns it smokes inside, so the place sort of reeks, and regardless, I get really good deals on games. Usually they'll sell things 3 for 10. So at that price, that opens up a lot of possibilities in the sort of things that I'm going to buy and bring back to the game collection, especially when they're in such good shape. They are a little stinky, but the smell seems to kind of dissipate after a few weeks, so we get over it. God of War Ascension I picked up as part of that 3 for 10 deal, and the next was Midway Arcade Origins on the Xbox 360, and lastly Pinball Hall of Fame The Williams Collection on the PlayStation 2. So I did really well there for 3 for 10. God of War Ascension, I opened up my copy recently to find out that inside is actually the discs for a completely different game, God of War, I believe it's Saga Collection, and so I needed to pick up a legitimate copy of this game, and the prices are kind of going up on this title on the PS3, so I'm happy to have actually completed that, and I can swap out the wrong game in my collection for, I guess, the right one. And these Arcade Origins mixes on the Xbox 360, or in general arcade sort of compilations, are sort of a novelty item, but if I'm gonna go back and play games that originally appeared on arcade machines and maybe let's say Atari or that sort of thing, I definitely want to play them like this in a compilation format. I don't own an Atari and I probably never will, but if I'm gonna go back and play games that are sort of arcade games or old school Atari games, this is the way that I'm gonna do it for sure. So some great titles, 3 for 10, did really well. I picked up Tekken 3 for $10, really clean copy, and the guy was selling it near where I work, and so it was super easy to drive by. I actually picked this up at 7:15 a.m. from his house for 10 bucks, and Tekken 3 is a great fighter, so happy to have that for $10. These last 2, one was from just a regular old Salvation Army thrift store, and that is Shaun White Snowboarding on the Xbox 360. I paid $3.99 for that one, and I picked out of a Facebook Marketplace kind of photo of a bunch of games. This one game I singled it out, and it's Blood Drive on the Xbox 360, and it's not a game that I see super frequently. Maybe that's surprising because it's something you've seen in your area regularly, but I rarely see this game locally. And so it just looks like a ridiculous title. And, sometimes I'll see a game that just catches my eye and I can't not get it. So I went over and I picked up just this single game, and I think I spent $5 on it. So nice pickup there to continue to explode on my Xbox 360 collection, which is well over 200 games now. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to take you through my big mail call for the week.
Mail time!
Mail time! Mail time! The mail's here! Come on!
And it's not so big in volume, but some of these packages are a little bit bigger in size, and last time around I opened my biggest parcel last, so I think this time around it's only fitting that I open my biggest parcel first. This one's an eBay pickup. Okay, and this pickup is... Wow, they use a lot of wrapping, which is fantastic. It's going to come in great shape. I picked up The Cruel King and The Great Hero. This one is the Storybook Edition, and my god, this thing is clean. It is absolutely 100% sealed, new in box. I will 100% be cracking into this one to play it. I know very little about this game except for the fact that I saw it featured on another YouTuber's channel, and the game just looks graphically phenomenal. I watched the trailer for it and sort of fell in love with this game without knowing anything about it. Generally, I don't go after big extra editions of games without knowing a lot about them. Usually, I sort of save special edition of games for games that I'm really excited about or that are kind of near and dear to my heart. And in this case, I found a really great deal on eBay, and the price for this was basically the same as what other eBay sellers were selling the game for loose. So whenever that happens, I will absolutely pick up the kind of extra edition. This one has like a stuffy, an art book and a map, all kinds of interesting stuff in it. That's cool. I'm absolutely going to add that to the collection with the extra edition if it's going to be close to the same price. So really excited to check this game out. It looks like it's going to be really, really cute and really neat little addition to the collection. Really excited about that one. Okay, next up, let's get into it. I'll save this tiny box to the end. I do know what's in that because the seller used their like little sticker for the outside of it, so I'm well aware of what's in that last one. So we'll get into this one first. Right, okay, so these are two new games that I believe I picked up from Video Games Plus, which is a shop in Ontario, Canada that sells new and I think used games. But anyway, great website. I've been buying games off that website for the last couple of months now, and they had a bit of a sale on, and I picked up a couple games at a good price that I wanted to check out. So the first of which is Inertial Drift on the PS4. This one's brand new and sealed. Another game that I will absolutely be cracking open and playing. My PS4 collection is only about 7 or 8 games strong, and I'm always looking to add others as I've finally purchased a PS4. If you watched my most recent video where I went game hunting in Fredericton, New Brunswick, I will link it for you. Check that one out if you haven't already. I picked up a brand new, used PS4, but brand new to me, and Inertial Drift is going to be another addition to that PS4 collection. I also grabbed up Tormented Souls on the Nintendo Switch. This one also sealed, and again, I've been kind of working on my horror game collection. It does look like a pretty cool horror game. The reviews were really good on it, and so happy to add that on sale to the collection for the Nintendo Switch. Okay, last but not least, I'm really excited for this pickup. This is a pretty special one, and I'm not often in... I feel like I'm often watching other people's YouTube videos and admiring their collections and thinking like, wow, you must have been in the right place at the right time to have picked that thing up. I really hope that's what this is. Regardless, it's a pretty special pickup, regardless of whether it, you know, it's not really necessarily about the value, but about the story behind it. Okay, so enough with the build-up. Basically, what I picked up was what I believe is going to be the last game ever made for the Nintendo 3DS, and that is Fragrant Story. This is a tactical RPG game. Obviously, the Fragrant Story is a play on words of the game Vagrant Story, and so this was, from what I understand, the last game made for the Nintendo 3DS. The guy who developed this, that is involved in Squire Games, apparently ran to every door in the publishing zone that would hear him out and try to get this one snuck in under the wire, and they developed it and made it right on the finish line. So comment down below if you know better than I do, but from what I understand, Vagrant Story is the last game made for the Nintendo 3DS exclusively. But fact check me. Either way, super cool addition to the collection. And I don't have any bigger box 3DS stuff, so I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to open this and play it or not just yet. I don't normally buy sealed games that I'm never going to play. This one just has a really cool story to it, being one of the last ones printed, and so I'm really excited to have this in the collection. It is a really cool addition. Alright, and that's everything for this time around. Let me know in the comment section which was your favorite pickup of this video, and maybe let me know what you've been picking up for your own collection at home. Thanks for sticking around to the end to see everything, and I will absolutely catch you on the next one.